Hello, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are. I want to say hello and welcome to the show. This is Navigating the Future of Trucking and Transportation with me, your host, Jerri Banks. Hey, you are here today. I don't know how you found me, but I'm so grateful that you found me. On this show, we talk about all things future of trucking and transportation. We talk about automation and autonomy and new technology entering into the transportation industry. I share traditional truck driving jobs. You guys know that I own a recruitment and education agency. So I'm going to share those traditional truck driving jobs, but I'm also going to share those jobs in the autonomous sector where you can take your current skills and combine them with new skills and become a game changer for somebody's company. And then lastly, on the learning lane, y'all, I share actionable tips, things that you can use right now to help you reskill and upskill for the new future that our industry is moving into. So do me a favor and go ahead and subscribe to the channel. Make sure you follow me. Look, my producer is better than yours. Follow me across all of my platforms. Look, I would be remiss if I did not say hello to all of my friends over on TikTok. Thank you for the roses. Thank you, Dr. Cassie J. Thank you for the roses and the likes and the shares and the love. I'm so glad that you guys are here and tapped in. So again, thank you guys all for watching. This is episode 42. Can you believe it? Episode 42. And so I am so grateful to be here. And look, today's show, we got a lot of information to talk about. I'm going to touch on something that I talked about a little bit yesterday. But first, I'm going to talk about robo taxis, right? The robo taxis, the Waymo taxi, who's owned by Google, they are expanding, and I'm going to share a little bit about their expansion. I'm going to talk about oil field and sand hauling, frac sand hauling. I'm from the country, right? And I grew up seeing a lot of semi trucks going through our town, and they were hauling sand. And every time I go home, I see the sand trucks. And so I know a lot of guys and gals that work in the oil field industry. So I want to talk about a new development that is happening in the oil field that you need to know about. And then I'll share a traditional truck driving job. This is a position that we are hiring in New York, and it is a dedicated account. So I'm going to talk about that particular position, and I'm going to share all about what dedicated means and why you want to be on a dedicated account from a being able to get home and family perspective as well. And then in the learning lane, I'm going to talk about um, opportunities just from behind the wheel, time management, building network, the power of observation, those types of things that are going to help fuel your growth in your career. So stick around. When we come back, I'll go ahead and kick it off with my Waymo adventure.
I'm Jerri Banks. Our agency focuses on driver recruitment and driver education. We focus on helping drivers and preparing them for the future of trucking and transportation as autonomous vehicles and automation enters the industry. Our goal is to ensure that you are equipped with the skills that you need to be successful in this new way of life. So make sure you connect with me across all of my platforms, Jerri Banks, Autonomous Trucking. I look forward to connecting with you.
Welcome back. Welcome back. Let's get this party started. Thank y'all again so much for being here. Make sure you're tapped in with me across all of my platforms. Good morning to all my people over on TikTok. I hope y'all are having a fantastic day over there. Look, so a couple months ago, this was back in March, April. So I went to Seoul, Korea. And before Seoul, Korea, the flight left out of Phoenix, and so I spent a couple days in Phoenix. And these are my. So I talked to you guys about my trucking life, and I also share my aviation life. Um, and so this is my aviation life. And for those of you that don't know, and you're new here, the reason why I started this show is because of my five sons. And so all of my sons, they've taken after me and their dad. My husband and I both have background in aviation and in trucking, so the transportation industry. And all of the boys are either in aviation, airport life. One is going to be a pilot in pilot school. One is in warehouse and logistics. One is a truck driver. So I'm their advisor. My husband, yeah, he's their advisor too, but I'm their advisor, right? If you're a mom, you know, right? If you know, you know. And so the reason why I started the show is because they were like, hey, you need to share this information with everybody else, not just us. And so, of course, that's what I did. I started sharing the information. Yeah, look, Dr. Cassie said, look, exactly. If you know, you know. Your mom, you are their advisor. And so I share on the show, I share my aviation life and my aviation consulting because that's not like 100% what I do all the time. 100% what I do all the time is run my recruiting and education business. And this is a component. The show is a component of the education side. And so I was in Phoenix, Arizona. And in Phoenix, the company Waymo is is prevalent there, and they have it's a self-driving technology company. They're owned by Google. We all know who Google is. They're owned by Google, and they have a robo-taxi car. And so I got the opportunity to we were downtown Phoenix having dinner, and I got the opportunity to experience the Waymo taxi. And it was a robo taxi. um it was different, right? It was like nobody was in the front seat, nobody was, steering the wheel. It was all driven by this robot. And I share that to say that this is the future that we're moving into, whether us old schools, OGs like that or not. It's becoming more and more prevalent. And so the article that I want to share this morning, it is about a Waymo car. Before I get into that Waymo, I'm going to share a video of my Waymo experience, my Waymo taxi experience. Let me see if I can find that. Oh, yep, here it is. And look, y'all, I couldn't get in the car. I had to unlock the car with the app on my phone. Like it was a different experience. And so let me share that with you. And TikTok, I'm going to share that with y'all as well.
What better way to see the future than to experience it yourself? On a recent business trip to Phoenix, Arizona, I got to see the Waymo self driving car firsthand. It was so prevalent on the streets of downtown Phoenix that I saw one on nearly every corner. This is the I-Pace Jaguar. It's sleek, clean, and eco friendly. So, of course, I had to try one out myself. I could only unlock the door through the app. It required that I buckle up, just like in any other car. The experience was like none other. I could pick my music on the screen, the vehicles that were in front of us and on the side of us and behind us. Most importantly, I felt safe. The car was extremely cautious, watching for pedestrians, stopping at red lights, going when it needed to go. And at one point, another car even swerved in our lane. The car did exactly what I would have done as a driver. Waymo is currently in Los Angeles, San Francisco, Phoenix, and Austin, Texas. I can't wait till it comes to my city. I'd like to hear from you. Are you ready for the Waymo experience?
Yes. Are you ready for the Waymo experience? Like, that's the question, because it's not a matter of, if it's going to come to your city, especially if you live in a major city. It's a matter of when it will come to your city. And so we are starting to see Waymo. Waymo's moving to Austin. Waymo. TikTok's asking what it's called. It's called Waymo. 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 And funny thing. So I did the Waymo experience, and then when I'm traveling on business, I typically take Ubers. Like we don't rent a car, we just take Ubers because we're normally staying nearby the airport and um going back and forth between the airport to meet with the customer. Waymo, M like Mary. Waymo is the company name, and I polled a few Uber drivers because I probably took about 8 Ubers, and I polled a Waymo. I polled a few Uber drivers, and all of them, I asked them, of course, I asked them because I'm the one that's gonna get in the Uber car, and I'm gonna ask a lot of questions. I'm gonna talk to the Uber driver, if they're receptive, if they quiet and not saying nothing, then I'm not gonna say anything. But so I polled a few of them about the Waymo because they are in the same city with the self driving RoboTaxis, right? And so them being in that city, my question to them was, what's your take on the Waymo coming into your city, and do you feel as if it's going to affect your bottom line when it comes to more and more of those Waymos coming into the city, and you are that Uber driver doing the same thing, kind of competing almost with the Waymo RoboTaxi. And I got from some of them, I got a little I got like some apprehension, right, from some of them. Some of them were like, hey, look, the Waymo doesn't go on the freeway. It's all downtown streets. It's all side roads and things like that. It never goes on the freeway at this point. And so they didn't have a concern. One lady, she was her thought was, um, I feel like it's great. I think the technology, and there's a lot of new software companies coming into our city. It's boosting up our economy. So I was getting different vibes from different people. The one guy, which I thought was really funny, I asked him about it. I was like, so hey, what are your thoughts on the Waymo coming into Phoenix? I rode in a Waymo the other day, and he said, y'all, I kid you not, he said, well, I tell you what, you have way more trust than I would. And I just thought that was hilarious. He probably had been practicing that for a long time and been wanting to say that. But yeah, he probably had said it a lot of times. But he was like, you got way more trust in a self-driving car than I do. And so that just shows you that everybody is at a different level when it comes to the self-driving trucks. It's just, I mean, self-driving cars, self-driving trucks, however you want to look at it. But it's just like when the internet came along. It's just like, when email came along, or when cell phones came along. Like, this is the progression, right? This is the progression. It's a new revolution, like the Industrial Revolution and all the other revolutions before that. This is the progress that we're seeing. Now, what I do hope is that there is adequate regulation on a government or federal level to ensure that they are safe, to ensure that, all the necessary safety protocols are being done. That is what my hope is, that's happening now. As we progress, we're going to see more and more of these things. And so, in this article is brought to us by Fox News. Fox News, of their tech division. And so basically, they it says robots take the wheel as San Francisco opens streets to driverless taxis. So it was in a just a small area. The Waymo cars were just in a small area in San Francisco, just like Phoenix, just in a small area of Phoenix. They were just downtown. Well, now they're going to be moving across all of the streets of San Francisco. And so there's a rapid expansion of these vehicles, and it's just like Uber, except nobody's driving. um but this article, it highlights the potential benefits of this technology, which a lot of the benefits they're sharing has to do with increased accessibility, which means that people that are handicapped, people that are, have disabilities are able to get around just like everybody else. Um, so there, I know they've been a proponent of the robo taxis, but their focus is broad. Their focus is broad. They're moving all over San Francisco now, all over Los Angeles. They're moving into Austin, Texas, and I've heard that they're talking about Atlanta, Georgia as well. And so, of course, there's, questions and safety concerns and things like that. But again, I share this to show you that things are changing in our world. The way we live, work, and play is changing, and it's changing very quickly. And so these are things that you need to be aware of, so that and I share, the information, but then I also share, things that you need to be doing, that you can be doing to enhance your career. Dr. Cassie was talking about her son who is interested in getting into a earn while you learn opportunity, like wants a career right now, wants to be able to start making money right now. And so one of the things that I tell drivers is, diesel technology. Diesel technology, becoming a diesel technician, it is huge. Being able to, especially if you already have a Class A CDL, being able to drive the truck and repair the truck, that's huge. It's more and more community colleges, and I want you to look in your area and then let me know. Come back and let me know so that I can share it as well. But these community colleges are partnering with some of these self driving technology companies, and they're creating opportunities where you can go and get your, either autonomous vehicle certification or a junior autonomous vehicle certification, and be able to learn while you earn and still work at that company. So you reach out to your community colleges, right? And you see what they have available, what partnerships, because that's important, what partnerships they have with companies, because you can go to school half the day and you can work the other half of the day. The learn while you earn opportunities um, are so critical right now in our industry, because nobody can sit and not make money. We still have bills, even if you're, like, for example, my son is 18, and he's in aviation right now. He's going to pilot school. He's still, look, he needs to pay for those hours. He needs to pay for his school, and so he has to work while he's doing that in order to still be able to pay for everything that he needs to pay for. Look, he pays insurance, he pays car note. Like, those are still important. It doesn't matter, how old you are. You want to learn, you need to be earning. And so that is, like, I'm a proponent for earning while you're learning, um, from the standpoint of, education agencies and community colleges. Do more of that. Do more of that. Give us more of those types of opportunities where you can earn while you learn. And so another one is, and I'll be bringing her on the show. I'm going to see what her schedule is like next week, to bring her on the show. Katrina Hawkins, she is the founder of DJH Express National Training Academy. And Katrina does a lot. They are a national registered apprenticeship, and have apprenticeship opportunities to where you get trained and then you go learn, you go earn. So seek out those opportunities where you can earn while you learn. Chicago George on TikTok says, so right, she is 100. Yes, that's so important. And diesel technology, y'all, there is a shortage of diesel technicians. um, you have to be able to repair the truck in order to be able to you're a plus, you're an asset, you're a benefit to a company if you can drive and fix the truck. And so, my son, that's the truck driver. That is definitely one of the things that I'm pushing him. He starts in the fall. I've been pushing him for the last year since he got his CDL over a year and a half ago. I've been pushing him to also get his diesel technician certification. And so I also talk to a lot of drivers who may have a violation in the clearinghouse. And yeah, you got a viol. And for those of you that don't know what a violation in the clearinghouse is, it is a it's so the clearinghouse started in January 6, 2020. And the clearinghouse was created so that companies could talk to each other and be able to see if the individual that they're hiring has failed or refused a drug test at any point in their career, right? And when that started, our team started getting a lot of phone calls from drivers that had a violation. They had either failed a drug test or refused a drug test and didn't know where to go or what to do. And so we would educate them. We would share information on, okay, here's this is a 6-step process that you have to go through before you get back into the truck. And so we would educate them on this process and help them understand it. And then we would have, companies at that time, we would have companies that would hire the drivers on the back end. And so we would go out and we would train the companies on how to hire the drivers. We had partners who would train the companies on reasonable suspicion, train the companies on making sure their employ or their workplace was a drug-free workplace. And we still do that to this day to help the companies to understand the FMCSA's drug and alcohol or drug-free workplace program and help them implement that. And we would help these drivers. And so fast forward to today, 2024, and not a lot of companies are hiring these drivers that have been in this situation. It's no judgment from me. My job is to educate you to ensure that one, you don't you it's preventative, right? We don't go out and get a violation in the clearinghouse. That's the number one focus, right? Is that you don't get one. And so I do go out to truck driving schools and job corps and all these other places talking to drivers about how not to get a violation in the clearinghouse, because there's a lot of miseducation on that. And and so fast forward to today, there's so many drivers, over 259,000, quarter of a million drivers that have a violation in the clearinghouse, and they're stuck. They're stuck in a place where they can't get a job because a clearinghouse violation will halt your career. Nobody wants to hire you, no matter what the circumstances was around it, which is why I go to truck driving schools and talk to them, because a lot of them, a lot of those drivers will come into the industry. They're so excited about getting their Class A CDL. They're so excited about passing those tests. But then the first thing that they do is they go to a company and they fail the drug test, but it's because they quit whatever they were doing, whatever their, vice was. They quit, but they didn't give it enough time to go to their first job. Right. And so that's why I go to trucking schools to talk to them about, make sure that you're ready, make sure your body's ready, your system is clean, and you don't get a violation in the clearinghouse. And so my conversation with these drivers today that have had a violation is to seek out other opportunities, seek out opportunities that enhance your CDL, like a diesel technician certification that enhances your CDL. It adds value to you. So you're not just a driver with a violation in the clearinghouse. You're a driver who can fix the truck. You're a driver who can move that truck when you're done repairing it. You can move it to the parking lot. You can take it to the customer, whatever it is. And so that's my advice and what I've been advising a lot of these drivers with violations in the clearinghouse. Overhead lineman. Get you an overhead lineman certification. Look, we just had a hurricane here in Houston, and CenterPoint Energy, and they contract with so many companies. They need people to drive these bucket trucks and all these things. That's an opportunity. Those are all opportunities. So for the driver with the violation in the clearinghouse, I say to you that you made a mistake. Yes, you did. Okay. You made a mistake. But that must don't allow that mistake to define you. Don't allow that mistake to end your career. Go get something else to combine with that certification, with that CDL that you have. Add something else to it to make you more valuable to a company. And I know for a fact that these schools have so much money to give away to people that are there. Look, they are literally giving away money. I signed up, I won't say the school, but I signed up for you know how you get things on your timeline. You start talking about something and you get like a notification on your timeline, and then all of a sudden you see it everywhere. You see it on Google, you see it on Facebook, you see it on Instagram. And so I fell into the funnel, I fell into the trap. And it was an online certification. It wasn't for me, it was for one of my boys that I wanted to take, but I wanted to know a little bit more information about it. And so now I get emails, I get phone calls, I get text messages all about that certification, and they got free money to give away with it. They got free money to give away, and these schools are getting so many grants and funding from the federal government. There's no reason why we don't have certifications and different things like that. And if you're a driver, you can do an online certification in the evening in the back in the cab of your truck. You can get an online certification in the evening while you sitting in the cab of your truck. So instead of scrolling on socials, I recommend getting in an online certification program. A lot of them take 6 months, a year to get certified in something. So that's what I encourage you to look into. And if you're in the Houston area, San Jacinto College has an auto tech autonomous vehicle certificate of technology. It's a year program. There's an opportunity to earn while you learn, and it helps you learn how to work on and understand the basics of self-driving vehicles. It helps you understand the basics of self-driving vehicles. Like, that's a no-brainer. Let's get in that, because if you're not growing, then what are you doing? You're sitting still. We don't sit still. When we come back, I'm going to talk about a company that I want you to go register for their newsletter so you can stay informed. I'm going to talk about what they're doing and who they're partnering with in the oil field. Let's go.
When it comes to autonomous trucks entering the trucking and transportation industry, up until now, you've only heard bits and pieces, news here, news there. There's been no centralized place for you to learn about autonomous trucks. Join me every Wednesday and Thursday and Friday at 10 a.m. Central Standard Time as I share information, news, and education on how you can stay prepared for autonomous trucks and autonomy entering the trucking and transportation industry.
Welcome back. Welcome back. Thank y'all so much for tapping into to the show. This is Navigating the Future of Trucking and Transportation with me, your host, Jerri Banks. Look, I am here every Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, Central Standard Time, 10 a.m. So make sure you are tapped in with me. Make sure you follow me across all of my platforms, because it's somewhere in some way I'm dropping a gem, something that can help you to excel in life and excel in your career. Now, I want to talk about this is a company, and I'm going to pop their website, have Sarah pop their website up, because I want you to go to their website. It is Kodiak Robotics. Okay. The website is www.kodiak.ai. Sarah, go ahead and drop that for our friends over on TikTok. Um, Share that with them so that they can check this company out. This company has done the first driverless, okay? Driverless. That means without a driver in a truck. They have done their first 21-mile stretch with no driver in the truck in the oil field. And so, thank you, Sarah. And so this is a partnership. And so they released it. Yes, they released it a couple days ago. I talked a little bit about it on the show yesterday. Today they released a newsletter. So the reason why I'm sharing it again today is because I want you to go and sign up for their newsletter. Like, we get so many newsletters about BS when we can get a newsletter about something that's going on in our industry that, had we not been in that newsletter, we would have never known, right? And so get information sent to your or have a special email, because if you like me, if you're anything like me, you have probably about 10 or 12 emails. Drop it in the comments and let me know how many emails you have. Okay, it might take you a second to count them up, but I want to know how many you have. But have one email where information that helps you, information that keeps you informed is going. And so I want you to make sure that you sign up for their newsletter. And so this is Kodiak Robotics, the newsletter that they sent this morning. They just sent it an hour ago. An hour ago they sent it. But it talks about Kodiak leading the autonomous revolution. And so I talked about the industrial revolution that our parents and grandparents went through, going from horse to buggy to car, and going from manufacturing and building it themselves with their own hands, to going to using the machine to build the things. Like, we done went through so many revolutions. This is a new revolution that we're in, and we're moving into, and we're seeing. And so that's why I'm so adamant on ensuring that you're aware and informed, because this revolution is about to change everything. It's about to change our whole life, the way we live, work, and play. And autonomous. So let's talk about autonomous and the definition of autonomous. So autonomous means basically having the freedom to govern itself or control itself, right? I use autonomous interchangeably with self-driving, because that's a lot of what I talk about is self-driving stuff. DB Trucker says he have 3 emails. Look at you. I'm so proud of you. Without all them emails like we have, I have probably about 10 to 12. But some of them are business emails. Some of them are all my personal emails. Um, one of them is an email with my husband. So, but yeah, 3 is really good. I'm very proud of you. That means your life is nice and easy, and you don't have like a whole bunch of notifications coming in. But okay, so talking about autonomous and self-driving, I use it interchangeably, right? Because self-driving is the more simpler term. But when you hear autonomous, I want you to think of self-driving. I want you to think that, okay, this is doing something on its own. It doesn't need someone or something to manage it and maintain it. And so when we think of self-driving cars or self-driving trucks, we always come to Tesla. Our mental just automatically takes us to Tesla, just like when we think of um, going somewhere and not driving in our car, we say, "Oh, I'm gonna go Uber." Or when we think of ordering food, we say, "I'm gonna get Uber Eats," right? And so, or we want to look up something, we say, "Oh, I'm gonna go Google this." So, like the self-driving version, we always think of Tesla, and so I want you to think of something outside of Tesla. Okay. Um, I want you to think of these 5 companies, right? And I'll have Sarah drop them in the chat over here at YouTube and at TikTok. I'll drop them at YouTube. So the first one is Wavy. Wavy is one of the companies that is a leader in these self-driving trucks. The next one I'm talking about now is Kodiak Robotics. Um, that one is a company that is based in, uh, they have offices or headquarters in Mountain View, California, but they are based in the Dallas area. Their hub is in the Dallas area. And so they have routes between Dallas and Houston, Dallas and Atlanta, Georgia, Dallas and Oklahoma. Like they are, and now they're in the Permian Basin, in the oil field. And so that is one of the companies that I want you to think about as well when you think of self driving. Another company that I want you to think about is Torque Robotics. Torque Robotics. They're a company. They're out in. They're based in Blacksburg, Virginia, but they have operations in Albuquerque, New Mexico. That's where their main operations are. The other company that I want you to think about is Aurora Innovation. Aurora Innovation. Aurora is based in Pittsburgh, but their operation is again in the great state of Texas, where things are, from an autonomy perspective, things are booming. That revolution, it's booming. Um, so Aurora is, they have operations already running. A lot of these companies have a safety driver in the truck to kind of manage and maintain and report back and oversee things. But Aurora and Kodiak have both said they're going to remove the driver from the truck in certain instances. And the oil field one is what we're seeing. We're seeing them have removed the driver from the truck in the oil field. And then the other one, and the last one that I want you to think about, so this is the fifth one, is Gatik AI, Gatik AI. And Gatik AI is, their tagline is that they own the middle mile. And they do a lot of freight moving in, where else? Dallas, Texas. Dallas, Texas. And so they partner with Walmart, they partner with Kroger, they partner with Georgia Pacific, they partner with Loblaws, and a lot of customers that they don't even share publicly that they partner with. And so these are all things that, being in this industry, you need to know about. These are all companies that I want you to go to their website. I've already dropped them on both sides, but on our show, and also on TikTok as well. The information is there. I want you to go to their website. I want you to sign up for their newsletter. So whenever they drop new information, whenever they have a webinar, Torque Robotics is really good about hosting webinars and sharing information about the progress and the things that they're doing. Um, and so again, Kodiak is partnering with Atlas Energy Solutions. It is a frac sand hauling company, and Kodiak is working on lanes and self-driving in long haul lanes on the semi truck, in the semi truck world. But they have mastered delivering sand in the Permian Basin without a truck, without a driver in the truck. And so when you think about the oil field, and I don't know why um, this wasn't thought of first, because this is probably the most ideal conditions of putting your truck in a position, in a place where there's not a lot of traffic, where you can do a whole lot of testing and not have a driver in the truck and have it be remotely operated. Again, not that this is like widespread, not that this is going to happen overnight, but I do foresee them adding more and more trucks on the oil field, because it's dirt roads. It's nobody, there's nobody out there. There's typically just somebody there waiting at the dump place, at the sand place where the silos are, to unload the sand or connect the hoses and handle that part of the lane. And so this, I think, is a significant milestone for them. Um, and I wanted to share this because, again, it's the ideal testing ground. There's, private roads, there's low traffic, it's lower speeds, mostly dirt roads and things like that. And so this is just a prime example of where autonomous technology or self-driving technology um, can enter can enter in, and they're probably one of the first ones to remove their driver. Everybody's saying they're going to remove their driver, but I think this is the first one that I've seen where they have removed the driver from the truck. And if you're a driver, I continuously tell you and talk about different things that you can do to enhance your career, enhance your skill set, be the better driver. The first and foremost that I always I preach and shout from the mountaintops. And my son is probably the one that gets it the most. Y'all don't get it as much as he does, but it's about safety. It's all about safety. Like, ensure that your driving record stays clean. Ensure that you have no accidents or tickets, no incidents on the yard, at the truck stop. Ensure that you are not holding your cell phone in your hand. Ensure that you have a clean, good, safe driving record. Because I'm going to tell you from a recruitment perspective, as a recruiter, as an individual that owns a recruitment agency, we have a ton of jobs to fill. We have a ton of jobs to fill. The problem is we don't have, from going by the hiring requirements and the needs of the company, what they give us hiring requirement wise, a lot of drivers cannot meet those requirements because of safety issues, because of terminations for safety, because of tickets, accidents. And here's a big one that we deal with a lot, because of um, work history. A lot of these companies want you to have less than, I have one company that wants you to have less than 2 jobs in a year right now, hiring in Texas. Um, but a lot of them will say anywhere between 3 to 5. 3 to 5 jobs in a year is probably that sweet spot. But historically, drivers will hop jobs and have 10 jobs in a year. And so that's why I tell you, you know, wherever you're going, wherever you're going, do your research and ensure that the position that you're going to is somewhere that you're going to go and you're going to sit. Because most of these companies, they want to see you at a company between 4 to 6 months. Stay at one place, stay at one place for at least 4 to 6 months. That's what we're seeing right now. And let me tell you why. Let me tell you why it's that way right now. Because the rates are down, right? Fuel is up, and companies have a lot of options in drivers. They have a lot of options. Back up 2 years ago, and if you had a pulse, if you could drive, if you didn't have a lot of tickets, a lot of accidents, and for some companies, I'm like, they would take 5 tickets. But that was supply and demand. They had so much freight. They had so many trucks that needed to be filled. They had so many loads that needed to be moved. They could take and be a little less stringent when it came to those hiring requirements. But now the freight is down, the rates are down, the fuel is up. So they're being very, very picky on who they bring into their company. So if you've been out there looking for a truck driving job and you know you got some blemishes on your background, well, let me tell you why you're not hearing back from them. It's because of those blemishes. They're being very picky on who they bring in. And so when you go in, if you get approved for that job that you've been looking for, the job you've been wanting to work at, then sit there. Don't move. Stay there at least 4 to 6 months. Try to work it out. As long as you're earning a paycheck, as long as you're getting that, because a lot of drivers like to see what's greener on the other side. A lot of drivers like to see what's greener on the other side, and if it's greener on the other side, and sometimes it's not. So stick it out as best you can. Get 4 to 6 months in with a company before you move around, because that's going to give. If you get 4 to 6 months in with a company, that's going to average you no more than 3 jobs a year, and that is acceptable. That is acceptable with a lot of our companies. So that's my advice on the jobs and what companies are saying right now, and pay wise, what we're seeing. Um, and I love TikTok, but I love y'all over here TikTok because y'all try to give me the blues about pay. So I talked about a job yesterday on TikTok and I dropped it. I talked about it on the show, but I dropped it on TikTok as well. And the job is a oversized, overweight driver, looking for oversized, overweight, overdimensional driver with those skills with 2 years of experience, paying $30.84 an hour for straight pay. But then overtime pay was $45.26 an hour. Now, on TikTok, I shared that video, and so many drivers came back saying, oh, that's not enough money. And oh, you know, that's not enough, and oh, that driver ends up making 47 cents a mile. And no, sir, no, ma'am. And let me tell you why. Because this company is paying by the hour. They are guaranteeing you 10 hours a day. Whether you drive 5 miles an hour and you sit in traffic and you don't get anywhere for that day, you still get paid 10 hours a day, guaranteed at that rate. Now you hit overtime at 60 hours. After that, after that 60 hours, it's all overtime at $45.26 an hour. And you can say stuff like that to somebody who not deep in this industry. You can say stuff like that to that's not no money to somebody who doesn't know that there's drivers out here making $800 a week because they get paid 40 cents a mile and they only driving, 200 miles a day because they were set at the shipper or because, for whatever reason they were held up. If you're not moving and you're a CPM driver, cents per mile, then you're not making any money. So that's why I know that that's money. And that's why I know on average, drivers are averaging anywhere from 1,200 to 13, $1,400 a week on average. You might be above it, and a lot of you are below it. And so that's why I say like the TikTok has a lot of experts over there. But you got to have been in this industry for some time to be able to tell me what drivers are making, because I see it every single day. I live it every single day. I know what the companies are paying, and I know what all the top ones are paying. I know what all the little ones are paying. And to average between 1850 and $2,700 a week as a truck driver, as a company driver. I'm not talking about owner operator. Nothing I talk about on here is owner operator. But the average between 1850 and $2,700 a week as a company driver is a nice chunk of change. You can pay, and it's guaranteed in most cases. 10 hours a day is guaranteed. No matter if you sit in traffic or if you sit at the drop location, you're still guaranteed to get that. I know drivers who sit in a hotel or sit on side of the road because the truck broke down and you getting paid nothing. So that's my mount top of the mountaintop. I know what you make, so you can't tell me what you make out here. Speech. That's my kid now in Maryland, 85,000, moving oversized, going to the state of Iowa. Yes, I love it. Those specialized, and y'all gonna hear me preach this to the wheels fall off. Being specialized and having your endorsements, that's going to set you apart from the general freight people. Being specialized, hazmat, tanker, oversized, overweight, overdimensional, that type of specialization, flatbed, getting that type of experience is only going to set you apart from everybody else. So I preach endorsements. I preach twit card. I preach all of that because it sets you apart. And I think I said yesterday or last week that when my boys graduate high school, I don't care what you're going to do. You get a twit card. Congratulations. You graduated high school. We live in Houston, Texas. We're right next to a port, a shipping yard. You get a TWIC card. Congratulations. I don't care what it is you're going to do. That TWIC card is valid for 10 years and you never know when you need it. You never know when you need it. And so I encourage anybody to get a TWIC card just to have it in your drawer because you never know the day that you might need it. You might need to go on the ports. My husband goes to the ports at least 2 to 3 times a week. And so that is very important. Yeah, ports. Absolutely. Ports. It's so important. So when we come back, I'm going to share the dedicated position that I have up in New York. So if you're a New York driver and you're interested in this position, I'll be sharing it here when we come back. Right now, I'm going to share the oversized position for you guys.
$30.84 an hour. $30.84 an hour plus overtime. I'm looking for Class A CDL drivers with at least 2 years of experience. That experience has to be oversized, overdimensional, and overweight. You have to have been pulling at least 108 feet in length for your load. I already told you about the pay, so you know how good that is. You need to be willing to be out at least 3 to 4 weeks at a time. You get home for 7 full days, but you're out 3 to 4 weeks at a time. If you qualify, if you meet the experience requirements, if you have oversized, overdimensional, overweight, and have pulled 108 feet length in a load, over 2 years of experience, hit me up.
TWIC. Okay. Yes, hit me up. Look, if you're new here, welcome. Excuse me, I was talking to my TikTok family. Um, if you're new here, welcome. Make sure you are connected with me across all of my platforms. I'm here every Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday at 10 a.m. Turn the notifications on, set your clock so that you can get a notification of when I go live and you're here and you're catching some of these gems and information that I'm sharing and dropping. So on TikTok, Monique says, tell me about the TWIC card. So the TWIC card, it stands for Transportation Worker Identification Card. Transportation Worker Identification Credential, also known as a TWIC card. And so basically, what it does is it gives you permission um, to go on ports. It's used by Homeland Security and the U.S. Coast Guard, but you have to get a TWIC card in order to get access to some of these secure facilities, like ships, like ferries, like dockside warehouses, like customs offices, and things like that. So that TWIC card, it's TWIC. That's what I want you to look up. TWIC, and it's Transportation Worker Identification Credential. And it costs about $125, but let me give you a tip that there are entities that if you're looking for a job, let's say the workforce in your area, there are entities that will cover that. They have funding to be able to pay for you to get a TWIC card. If you don't have a job, you're looking for a job, you want to get a TWIC card, call your local workforce office because they want you to be working, and this is a part of work. Um, Call them, say, hey, I'm interested in looking for a job. The job that I want to work in the ports area, but I know I need to get this credential before I can work in any shipyards or ports or docks or warehouses or customs offices. Can you help me get this credential? Like they have the funding to be able to help you to get that credential, to help you with the application. I know that the TWIC card office in Houston is off of 610 East, like by the ship channel. And so that is where you can get, and it's valid for 10 years. You do fingerprinting, they run your background and all of those things. You're so welcome. She says, thank you for explaining. So I hope that was helpful to you guys. If you don't have your TWIC, get your TWIC card. You never know when you might have to use that. Um, and so the position that I want to talk about, it is a dedicated account, and it's looking for drivers with 12 months of experience. So 1 year of experience. Um, with no more, and this is these requirements these companies are having right now. They're looking for good drivers who are going to come with their company and stay and stick it out with their company. Yeah, Chicago George says it also helps in the rail yards too. Yes, it definitely helps in the rail yards. um, but they're looking for drivers that are come and going to stick it out and stay with their company. But this is a dedicated position, dedicated hauling freight for Budweiser, hauling freight for Budweiser. So when I say dedicated, let me explain what dedicated means, because some drivers don't know, new drivers don't know what dedicated means. So dedicated means, and my son, he's on a dedicated account right now. He's on a dedicated Dollar Tree. And so, new drivers coming into the industry, this is dedicated. So, when you're on a dedicated account, it means that you will only deliver to that one store, that one chain, not necessarily that one store, but that one chain. You might go to a Budweiser in California, in all multiple cities in LA, in San Francisco, in Sacramento. You might be delivering to all those Budweisers in that little region. This one is in New York, right outside of Syracuse, New York, in Baldwinsville, is where we're hiring drivers in that area. So you have to live within a 50-mile radius, 50-mile radius of Baldwinsville, New York. And it's Budweiser. And so when you're on dedicated, you just go and deliver to those places. You don't end up going to Kroger and Walmart and, you know, Kohl's and Ross. You're just going to the Budweiser plant, I think, in this particular instance. But let's just say you're on Walmart. You're only going to be designated for Walmart. Okay. You're only going to be designated for Walmart. So being dedicated, I like dedicated, and this is how what I tell drivers what you're going to expect on dedicated. You're going to expect to see the same people. You're going to expect to probably deliver at the same stores at the same time, because they schedule you in advance, right? Walmart, I know they have appointment times. You better not miss your appointment time on Walmart, or you're going to be sitting there and waiting to the next appointment time. But dedicated, you can, really set your schedule by dedicated, because you kind of know exactly what your week is going to look like. Now, on this particular position, you have to take a hair and a urine drug test. You have to be out for a week at a time. Okay, you have to. It's no touch. It's drop and hook. No touch, drop and hook. For those of you that don't know what drop and hook means, it means that you're going to drop that trailer that you brought in, and you're going to go hook up another trailer and get on out of there. Now, of course, you got to stop at the guard shack. You got to give them some information, paperwork, and all of those things. But drop and hook is real easy, and my drivers love drop and hook because um, you're not spending a lot of time there waiting to be unloaded, waiting to be loaded up. Like if you getting paid cents per mile, dropping hook is very good, because that time you're on a time constraint. You need those wheels turning, and if you're sitting there waiting, the drop and hook, I mean, being unloaded, live loads and live unloads, that takes time to be able to do. So my drivers love drop and hook. It's very little live unload on this. The pay is 56 cents per mile. Now, a lot of times when you're getting paid 6 cents per mile, it's just flat cents per mile, and that's it. Well, this particular account, it pays $6 for every stop that you make, and it also pays, and this is new because I hadn't heard this, but $6 for every stop that you make at every place, and then $6 for every drop and hook that you do. I've never heard a company pay $6 for every drop and hook. So that's a little bit different. And that's a bonus. That's a plus. Because, if you do 3 drop and hooks in a day, it's an extra $18. It's a regional, running in the region. So you're going to hit that whole little Northeast area. And it is Monday through Friday. which means that you're off on the weekends. Monday through Friday, there is an occasional midweek home time. So you may have to come back to Baldwinsville, which is up just northwest of Syracuse, New York. So you may have to come back there um, to pick up or something like that. And that means that you'll get home time during the week. You might get to be able to do that 10-hour break at home. And they also have a $2,500 sign on bonus. Now, as you know, these companies do not pay you flat 2,500 as soon as you pull your first load. They break those down. And I've got the number here on the screen. I want you to text Budweiser. Text the word Budweiser. You should know how to spell Budweiser. We've been seeing Budweiser commercials all our life. Text the word Budweiser to 832-572-5277. That's Budweiser. And the girls are standing by to be able to help you with that particular account. If that sounds like something that you're interested you're the in the area of Baldwinsville, New York. You're in a 50-mile radius. Hit me up. I'd love to be able to help you on that one. DB Trucker says CR England does live unloading and loaded along with drop and hook. Yeah, so a lot of companies do a mix of both. They do probably like 50-50 on the dedicated accounts. Yeah. A lot of companies. So you with CR England, I love that. I love that. They have their dedicated accounts. A lot of people give them a bad rep, CR England. But here's what I say. This is what I say about any company, not just CR England. When this is what I tell a driver, and if you're a driver and you said something about a company to me, this is what I tell you. Everybody has their own situation, their own experience with the company, right? Everybody has had their own experience with the company. I'm going to listen to your experience. And this is what I tell my boy too. When he out there at the truck stops talking to people and they say, oh, this company this, and you work for that company and they this. I said, let me tell you something. This is what you need to think about. You make your own experiences with that company so that you can go out and be able to say, well, this company did this to me, or this happened to me at that company, or this happened to me. Don't listen to everybody's experience because everybody got an opinion, everybody has an experience, and you're not going to pay my bills. That's it right there. All your experiences and your complaints about this company is not going to pay my bills. So let me hear this company out. Let me hear what they have to offer to be able to feed my kids, to be able to pay my rent, because it comes like clockwork on the first. It do not stop, y'all. I promise. It does not stop. You have to be able to go out and get your own experience with these companies. So hats off to you. I don't know how long you've been with them, but I know that they have some really good dedicated accounts that are out there. They have some really good opportunities, and their pay is industry standard or above industry standard. So hats off to you um, for not listening to everybody on the internet, because the internet does not pay your bills. Okay. So this particular position, it is not CR England. I need to say that. I do not say who my companies are that we work with. I do not share that information. I will share who the account is. I will share, who you're pulling freight for, who's freight and whose materials and whose goods are in the trailer. I will share that, but I won't share who the companies are that we work for or work with. He said, yes, build your own. Yes, build your own. Build your own opinion, build your own experience. And the only way you're going to know is if you try it. And I'm a person that I don't believe what everybody tell me. I have to go. If you telling me the sky is purple outside, guess what? Guess what I'm about to do? I'm about to get up. I'm about to go look at the sky and I'm about to see if it's purple. So make your own, form your own opinions. Use your own judgment and experience based on what you have experienced. Don't go by what anybody else has said. Now, so again, it pays 56 cents per mile. Monday through Friday is when you're out. You get paid an extra $6 for a stop. You get paid an extra $6 for every drop and hook that you do. You get home possibly during the week. This is a position, a dedicated position hauling freight for Budweiser. That's not who you're working for. Hauling freight for Budweiser, and you're going to be delivering to other breweries. So, like breweries are places that make the beer or distribute the beer. Um, in New Jersey, in Connecticut, in Vermont, in Maine, in Pennsylvania, and New York. No boroughs, but I do believe that if you go into the boroughs, um, there's extra pay if you go into the boroughs. So we can talk about that. So if that sounds like something that you're interested in, I want you to text me, text the girls, the word Budweiser at 832-572-5277. Now, moving right along. So I want to share an ebook, and this ebook, I'll drop the link in the description box here, but it's also in my bio on TikTok. But it's under truck driver tools, and um, it's called The Future of Trucking. And basically, I wrote this ebook so that you know some of the things that I share here, so that you know where the lanes are for self-driving trucks, where they're running, what state is the primary state that's accepting them, that's working very closely with them, developing them, deploying them, who the top 5 companies are. I shared them earlier. I wanted you to know what they're doing. I want you to know all the things that are going on so that you are in the loop. If you haven't already gotten that book, and I know Sarah has it up right here below, make sure that you download the ebook. It's free. It's just free information that you can put in your toolbox. And when you're having a casual conversation out there on the road, or you're at the truck stop, or you're at the diner, I want you to strike up a conversation. Hey, did you know that these are some of the top companies that are self-driving, working on self-driving trucks, that are putting their technology in some of our self-driving trucks? Hey, look, some of these companies might be hiring. I've learned some of the things that they require, and it's not a lot. It's not a lot for you to be able to do and work at some of these companies as well. So make sure you get that free ebook and be able to tap in and know some of the companies that are out there. So, moving right along to our learning lane. This is probably my favorite part of the show because I get to, and I think I do it all throughout the show, but I get to kind of just share tips and tools that you can start using right now. Um, when it comes to communication, we talked about communication yesterday, and I want to dive a little bit deeper in communication because I think it's an essential skill. It's a skill that you have to have in this industry. It's a skill that as we move and we see more self driving, as we see more automation in the warehouses, as we see new technology start to come about, your ability to be human, your ability to connect on a human level, communication, working teams, all of those things are going to be what sets you apart. And so I want to talk about the power of observation and how important communication and observation are combined. And I think a big skill with observation and communication is being able to pay attention to detail. Paying attention to detail. And I have one son, it's my youngest boy, and he's 14. But that's the one that I'm always talking to about paying attention to the small details. Like, don't just like gloss over things. Really pay attention to details. And so that skill, being able to, and that skill, I will tell you, has gotten me so many opportunities, especially on the aviation side. Being able to pay attention to detail. Because I'll give you an example. My aviation consulting, it has a lot to do with um, people that own their own plane or people that are chartering a plane, right? Not they don't look, they don't go in the airport area that we go in. They got their own little area, their own little road that they go down and park their plane on and in their hangar and those sorts of things. And in order to work with that type of clientele, your attention to detail has to be solid. Like you can't miss anything. And I'll give you an example. So the company that before I started doing it on my own and doing consulting, the company that I worked with, it was a company called Universal Weather and Aviation. And what they do there is everybody that they work with, all their customers have their own plane. They have their own plane. It's either government, heads of state, celebrities, anybody with their own plane. And one of the things that our team did, well, they still do. I'm just not there anymore. Amazing company, amazing company. But one of the things that the team does is obtain overflight permits. Okay, and so let me kind of walk you through. Y'all about to get a whole aviation lesson today. Okay, I'm going to walk you through what an overflight permit is. And so, it is a it's a in the sky you have airways. Okay, you have airways in the sky just like we have interstate 35, I-95, 45, all of those things. Hey love, hey J Bell Marie, how are you? So in the sky we have these airways, and aircraft, when they get their flight plan, we know what airway they got to go on. And so when we have an aircraft flying over a country, let's just say you're going from Houston, Texas, and you're gonna go to um, I don't know, Ghana in Africa, right? Well, there's countries that you fly over on the airway in the sky. And when you're flying over these countries, you have to get permission, right? You have to get permission. You can't just be just like in the United States. You can't just be flying over our airspace. We don't know who you are. We don't know who's on the plane. We don't know why you're doing it. You have to get permission. And so that's what our team did. They reached out to these countries. They would get permission for the aircraft to be able to overfly. And so you have this flight plan with all these little airways on it for the airplane to fly over, to go through, to navigate through. And so if an individual on my team missed an airway or missed a country that they were flying over, we take the risk of that plane getting shot down because you didn't get permission, you didn't get you didn't let them know they would be flying over, you didn't tell them the time that they would enter the airspace and the time that they would leave the airspace. Like all of these things the team had to do. I started out doing it, but I moved up in the company, so I didn't end up doing that. I did that maybe 2 years. 2 years I started out because that was the entry level. But that's a lot, right? That's a lot. Taking the chance of your attention to detail and not paying attention to detail, missing a permit, missing a country, and that airplane getting shot down with a governor on it or a head of state or a celebrity, getting shot down. That's why I say attention to detail is so important. Attention to detail is important in aviation, but I'm going to bring it home and show you how important it is in trucking just as well. Because what if you miss something in your pre trip inspection? What if you miss some item that is so critical? The brakes. What if you miss a line popped open in the brakes on your pre trip because you glossed over that pre trip, right? And you're going down the interstate and it's traffic ahead and you can't stop. But had you paid attention to detail, those small, small details, you would have saw that and you would have known that, hey, something's going on with the brakes or something's going on with this line that I need to check before I even leave this place. And so that's why Your attention to detail, the power of observation is so critical. It's so important. So I want to just wrap up and say thank you guys so much for being here. I am so, look, I love doing this show every Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday at 10 o'clock Central Standard Time. Make sure that you are all tapped into to me across all of my platforms. This information is information that you can use, information that you need to be able to excel on another level, right? We're not on yesterday's level. We're on tomorrow's level. We ain't even on today's level. We're on tomorrow's level and thinking ahead so that we don't get left behind in the new future that our industries are moving into. Because we see them. We see the changes. We see the shifts happening in our industry and you can ignore it or you can grab a hold to it, go learn something, be something, and increase your bottom line, which is your bank account to be able to pay your bills. And so I want to thank you guys. You are so welcome, Chicago George. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you for the roses. Thank you, Monique. I love you. Thank y'all for being here. I just appreciate you. I will see y'all next Wednesday, same time, same place. Make sure y'all turn on the notifications so you don't miss it. All right, y'all. Bye.